week 22 of the $100,000 stock challenge. I'm Shug, and my goal is to invest $100,000 into the stock market and join this wave of financial freedom. I make videos like this every Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure that like button, make sure that subscribe button. I'm gonna stop yapping and dive directly into it. Last week, when I say coach, Chris Sain, he posted this video, invest $10.94 into this stock, it will 10x, right? And that stock is Applied Digital, right? Ticker symbol APLD, right? And I just want to dive into this, right? When coach made that video, the stock was sitting a little higher, right? On the past week, it was sitting at like, $10.95, right? But it's currently, the lowest was $9.46, right? And the past 3 months, it was up to a high of $13.86, right? I personally was invested into this stock when it was at $3.87 is when I had this stock on my ratio, right? If I would have kept this stock, right? If I would have kept this stock, I'd be up a lot more, right? I sold this stock right when it got to like the $7 mark, but it kept going to $9, $13, and now it's currently sitting at $9.85, right? So coach said invested into this stock, right? I was at the time, I was just trying to rinse and repeat, trying to make money, right? I wasn't 100% sold on this company, right? I wasn't evaluating the stock properly, right? And if you guys don't know how to evaluate stock properly, please check out my last video. I'm gonna post it right here on the screen on how to properly evaluate stocks. If you don't know how, I highly suggest you checking out that video to figure out how to properly evaluate stocks yourself, right? Not just going off what I say or anyone else say, but you actually do the research yourself, right? The year to date, this stock, so let me just talk about this, right? The reason why I like this stock, right? The reason why I like Applied Digitals, right, is for a few reasons, right? Number one, right? When you think of Applied Digitals, I want you to think of NVIDIA. I want you to think of NVIDIA, think of ChatGPT, think of Bitcoin, right? Because it is partnered with all of those companies, right? It's partnered with all, it got its hands in all of that, right? And one thing that stood out to me, right, was that it signed a multi-year deal with two major heavy hitter companies, right? CoreWeave, it signed two separate 15 lease agreements, right, with that company. Then it also signed one with Marathon and Bitcoin, right? So it is a 5-year deal with those, right? But I just want to say those two contracts is going to generate about $7 billion in revenue for the company, right? And which is equivalent to $467 million per year, right? This is a long-term AI data center deal, right? That is a really big deal, right? So I'm over here thinking, right, they landed these two contracts, huge contracts lasting, 15 years, right? That is a huge deal, right? So so when you think of Applied Digitals, is in the AI workload, blockchain, the cloud, NVIDIA. It does the crypto mining as well. And if you know about Bitcoin, we all know Bitcoin is not regulated yet. It's not regulated yet, but we all know Bitcoin is here to stay, right? Bitcoin is probably the best cryptocurrency out there, in my personal opinion, right? It's more well known, it's well more diversified. Everybody heard of Bitcoin. It's not like some of these smaller meme coins like Doge, XRP, Ethereum, anything like that. When you think of Bitcoin, you know that's like the top of the food chain, right? So it got a mining deal with Bitcoin. So looking at that, and then also the deals that it did, the options for more power, it could even grow even more as it win more contracts, because it already had that track record of, hey, we signed these big deals, these big contracts, we're growing as a company. I knew we could continue to evolve, right? And these aren't no short-term deals. They signed a 15-year deal with CoreWeave, right? 15-year deal with CoreWeave, right? And I just kind of want to put that on your radar, right? That this stock is not super expensive, right? I just want y'all to come back to when Coach was talking about Palantir. When I say Coach Chris Sain, he was talking about Palantir, right? Buying Palantir, buying Palantir, buying Palantir, right? I originally got in Palantir at what? It was like $11. I rolled it up to like $19. I thought, man, I made a killing, right? Man, just imagine if I that boy 1,000 shares when Palantir was at $9, right? And Palantir is currently sitting at $144. Palantir is currently sitting at $144. And it only took 5 years to do. 5 years. 5 years. It's a huge return on my money. If I would have dumped a lot of money into that company right then and there, right? Not even saying I just had to do it all at once, right? If I would have just DCA, dollars cost average into it, right? And got 1,000 shares of it, right? Man, I promise you, we'll be having a completely different conversation right now. We'll be having a completely different conversation. But, you know, they say history repeats itself. Don't make the same mistake twice. Do your research. Do your research. I'm not a financial advisor, but do your research as well, man. This could be the next wave as well. You know, that's the beauty of investing and taking risk, because what's on the opposite side of risk? Reward, right? So I'm just saying why this stock is low in the $9, especially now, even if you don't want to hold it for 5 years, right? And you just want to kind of make a little money like I was doing at first, because I originally bought this stock at $3 and I rolled it up to like $7 and I sold, and you know, I kept rinsing and repeating, doing that way. As you see right now, right, that it's currently sitting at $9. The high was $13 in the previous 3 months. So you can even rinse and repeat if you don't want to hold it long term. But I'm telling you, you definitely want to build you some solid positions in this company while you can and make the most of it. But like I said, I'm Shug. I make videos like this every single Tuesdays and Thursdays. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. See you guys next week. Peace.